So welcome everybody to another episode of the Brewmasters Club cast. Here is what you have to look forward to in tonight's episode.
Welcome to the official podcast of the Brewmasters Club, Craft Brews and Geek News. Sit back, pour yourself a pint, and let's get into it. Now here's the founder of the Brewmasters Club and your host, Donnie Gallagher.
Good morning. Wait.
Good evening.
Good evening, Craft
Not
Beer.
even one beer in.
No, it's not. No, we are here at Ryan's Brew House. What is the name of this brewing
We're
area?
at the So Brew Garage.
They say great businesses start in garages, and this could be or it will be one. We are
Amazon starting a garage.
Everything started in a garage. I don't know.
Check the Amazon affiliate link down below, by the way.
We are here at So Brew Garage, and we are brewing our first. At my request, we are brewing our version of the lipstick on a pig, name TBD. We don't have the name. Yeah, just I need a little clarification from an outside source on that. But
Okay.
This beer is going to be very special. It is a strawberry basil black pepper IPA.
Yeah. Well,
Pale ale.
pale ale.
Okay.
I didn't get enough hops for IPA.
Okay, so one more time. This is going to be a strawberry basil black pepper pale ale, and I'm super excited for it.
I'm very excited as well. I hope that the rendition of this beer that we're doing turns out the way that Donnie dreams it will. I don't know really, besides the strawberries, the basil, and the black pepper, not really sure what yeast was originally used in this recipe, not sure what malts were originally used.
And the problem is we're never going to know, because
we're never going to know.
This beer was brewed at Lakeland Brewing Company. Thanks to Mr. Lausman for introducing us to it, but I tried it once and I just loved it. I know you tried it too.
I did. I didn't really know how to appreciate it when I first had it, because it was something
You never know till it's gone.
Yeah.
You never know you never know what you got till it's gone.
So now that's the fun thing about craft beer. Now we got to figure out how to brew it ourselves, or at least make it better, if that's even possible.
I really hold it in my heart as one of the best beers I've ever had. So good evening, everybody. We're going to go ahead and count this as episode 64, and basically we are going to do some craft brews, some geek news. Again, this is the official podcast of the Brewmasters Club cast. We talk about local stories, craft beer across the nation and the great state of Florida, not only the world, everywhere.
Yeah.
But we also cover geeky nuggets of pop culture, which we will definitely do tonight. So stick with us. We're going to try and walk you guys through bits of the brewing process here as me and Ryan are trying to brew this. This is, I've lost count now, 40,
I lost
30,
count.
let's say 41? I don't know.
I've probably brewed as many times as, I can count on my fingers, toes, your fingers and toes. Like I can't keep track
Let's just call it near 40. We'll say 41.
We'll call it 62.
60. Well, this is the 63rd
Okay,
episode.
We'll call it 63.
Well, that was the 64th episode, actually.
Fuck. Just call it whatever you want then.
All right. Well, I think from what I've counted, Ryan, you're in the 40s. I think you're in the 40s. But then again, I haven't seen.
Measure?
No, it's not, because I have not seen every beer you've made, and I haven't certainly
Wait, are
tried.
we talking about women or beer?
Beer. We're sticking with beer.
Sorry. Oh, God.
So we're gonna try and finish out Ryan's 42nd beer and brew this lipstick on a pig clone. We are excited to be here with you guys, and thank you for listening. Stay tuned.
What I shared with Donnie just now is the first rendition of a chocolate s'mores beer that my buddy Corey and I brewed. It was for his birthday. By the way, if you're a home brewer, try to brew beer for friends for special occasions. This one we put 28 ounces of actual chocolate bars, Hershey's. We put about 3 pounds of marshmallows and a whole box of graham crackers. A couple days into, after high krausen and fermentation, I went to transfer it into secondary, so like day 6, day 7, and the smell was not very pleasant. It was very odorous. And if anybody follows us on our Facebook page, they know, they saw the photo. Don't put one package of yeast for all the sugars that were actually into this beer. So long story short, after transferring it about 3 or 4 times, I was able to taper off the yeast sort of smell, the yeast finish, and I was left with 2 gallons. This is the last of it, and you should get a lot of really good milk chocolate flavors. I think that there's some marshmallow here and a little bit of graham cracker. I don't know what your opinion is, but what do you think?
It's tart.
It is tart?
It's almost got, like, if you said this was a dark chocolate something, I would put more weight on that just because it's got like this it's got an ester of like an oak almost, and I don't know what that is.
I did use a smoked malt.
Okay, so that's
it. What it is.
So I mean, it's like when they say coffee malts and stuff. Like when I think coffee malts, and anybody out there that's not maybe a home brewer, just imagine what coffee tastes like. That's what a coffee malt tastes like, right? If you were to chew it, that's physically what it tastes like. So I get a lot of that. There is a little bit of graham cracker. There's like a spice in the middle, in between like the roof of your mouth and your nose. I get a spice of graham cracker, which is a weird flavor. I don't get much marshmallow. I don't get the sweetness,
which is surprising because there's 3 pounds of marshmallows actually boiled into the entire beer.
I get a smoky, chocolatey graham cracker.
Okay.
Now maybe I'm just overlooking the marshmallow. I don't know.
Well, it actually came out better than anticipated, but it was scary because what you don't want to do is stress the yeast out. And I called Tim over at Craft Life. He helped me out with that. I basically sent the yeast to a crack party to die.
I was about to say, how'd that call go?
Yeah. Well, he's like,
Tim, I need help, Tim.
Yeah, Tim was like, oh man, you just killed your yeast. Like, you just stressed them out. So if you're going to put that much sugar into a beer, and you're going to think marshmallow is 90% sugar.
And air is the other 10%.
28 ounces of milk chocolate Hershey bar is all sugar.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I didn't have enough yeast to counteract that. Now, next time I brew this, if we do it that same way, we'll have more yeast. It won't stress out. Maybe it'll turn out a little bit nicer. So, kind of learned my lesson there. But I do have another rendition that I did the very following week with just like a chocolate malt, and I actually dry hopped it with marshmallow. So we'll try that next and give a little comparison when we're done with this one.
Well, it's good, and I would say in terms of what the flavor is, I don't know if it's necessarily s'mores, but I definitely get graham cracker and chocolate, and that's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I just don't get when you have, you've tried beers and they're like an espresso porter or whatever, or a cream vanilla. You can pull those flavors out. I don't get the vanilla, which doesn't complete the s'mores, but I definitely get a like toasted graham cracker. If you had this as a toasted graham cracker beer, it's perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
That's what I would call it.
I think the trick with s'mores beers is using chocolate malts.
Yeah.
With vanilla bean and dry hop.
I understand behind smoked malts, but I
wanted to taste like it was going to come off the fire.
Yeah, right.
That was my sort of.
Well, it definitely tastes smoky. It's not, but it's not overbearing. So it's good.
Yeah,
good, awesome.
Not my best, but
that's okay. Well, hey, this is what it is. It's experimenting, right?
Experimental.
That's right. I think our water's boiling, so we'll touch base with you guys in a little bit. All right, everybody. So in the process now, Ryan, we've just transferred our boiling water over to
this the mash tun. Basically, it's a big 10-gallon jug. Igloo makes it, and we're going to transfer the grains into here with our water so that we can steep it for about an hour. And in this bag that I've got about 13 pounds of 12.5 pounds of 2-row Brees and a half pound of Carapils. Carapils is going to give us the head retention that we want whenever we're drinking, because we're adding in some things that are going to have more of an oily based premise to it. Like the strawberries might leave some oil, so we want to make sure that whatever we put into the beer doesn't kill the head whenever we're going to drink it. But Donnie, you just had some of the.
I wanted to taste the dry malt because when I used to work for the brewing company, it was interesting to taste it because they all have different flavors. Like this one particularly is a little bit, of course, drier, but it's still so sweet.
Good,
yeah, it's very good.
Really one of the best. 2-row Brees is one of the best grains that you can brew with. Just a great taste through and through on the beer, but it just in general is really just.
It's just a nice flavor to it. It's not overly strong. You can still feel like it's weedy, it's oaty. It's really good, man. I love it.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
So yeah, if you want to get in here, I'm pouring the grains into the water right now. Perfect. Keep that for later. Give it a little stir. And the reason we heat the water up to 162 is so we can, whenever we put our grains in, it knocks it down to about 152, 154. So I'm going to give it a stir. You want to get all the dry pockets of the grain mixed in there so it meshes well with the water. And then we're literally going to put that top on top in just a second. Smell this real quick. This smells, yeah.
See, that's what when you walk up to a actual brewery that's brewing and you see the exhaust pipes they're kicking out like the actual like excess and from the boil itself. That's what it smells like. It's almost bready. It's doughy a little bit. It smells In between, no, this and like this isn't. It's a bad picture, but you never been to a farm, right? When you smell like the oats that like livestock consume, and then you go to a brewery and you smell that same kind of oaty, but it's like a wet oat smell that's hot and it's kind of humid, and it just has this overwhelming flavor like you walked into like a soggy bread factory, but it smells delicious. It smells like good beer taste.
That's what happened to us the other day. We were walking up the Stillhouse, and I was like, man, they must be brewing. And sure enough, they were. So, yeah, it like draws you in, kind of.
It is. It's like the Pepe Le Pew, where you just like kind of walk. Yeah,
it's like floating in the air.
Floating in the air, right? If you like,
love is in the air.
Yeah, if you like beer, that's what it is. I just always remember that the first time I ever went to a big brewery, when you pulled up, you got out of your car, that's what it smelled like, and I was like, whoa, this is heaven.
Does it smell like that at Yingling?
It does. Yeah, okay. When they're brewing, and when you get the closer you get to the brewery, if you actually do the tour when they're on a brew day, you can smell it, you can hear it, you can see it. The steam's pouring out the building. It's amazing. It's really a cool experience. So if you haven't done that before, go tour a brewery, especially while they're brewing, because you get that full experience, and it's really just an amazing time.
Yeah, it really drives the senses overdrive.
All right, guys. So as we have in every episode here, this is our famous segment, What Are You Going to Drink? What are you drinking at the moment? We talked about a bit of those beers we've had now, but since we've got some time to kill while we are steeping.
Yes, we haven't officially been drinking yet, evidently.
So that's all right. So that's on us. So we're going to go ahead and start officially drinking. Ryan, I brought you the Abita Mardi Gras Bock.
Yes.
Which I talked about last week, and I really, really enjoyed it.
And I've already had a sip of it, but I really like this beer. I can't really describe all the I feel like it's along the lines of like I'm getting like a bready sort of Belgium-y flavor connotation. I know it's a Bock, but I don't know. Like,
it doesn't drink like a Bock.
No, it doesn't drink like a Bock.
It doesn't drink like a Bock at all. That's what I thought was really unique about it.
Wasn't the Gator the Gator?
Andy Gator, but that was like a 15%. That was a crazy beer.
In a 6-pack that was buy one get one for like $10. But anyway, we're not talking about that. But no, it's really good. I would buy this. And Abita, again, coming in with the win, getting me back on the track.
I really love Abita. I like everything they have. The Andy Gator, it's weird that you called that one out specifically, because my sister, when she lived in New Orleans, I drank a lot of Abita, and she always had the Andy Gator. She had the Purple Haze because that's what she liked the most, which I didn't really.
I don't care for.
I don't either, but the Andy Gator she always had
because of the name.
Sure, but the Andy Gator always came up because that was the beer that she always had, and it was 15% or whatever it was. It was super high alcohol, but I hated it. But I liked other Abitas, and I liked this one. So when we did the cast last week, I was drinking the grapefruit orange something, grapefruit honey. It was grapefruit honey, and I didn't like that. But the Mardi Gras I really enjoyed.
I feel like maybe I'm wrong, but they might even use, because there's definitely a specific type of yeast that you use to get a Bock, But I feel like they also use a Belgium to get like a mixture. I feel like they use 2 different yeasts with this beer. Maybe that's what they do. I don't know, but I'm definitely tasting more Belgium than Bock.
Yeah, that's what I said too. I tried to articulate that in the cast. I was like, this doesn't really taste like a Bock because it's not heavy. No. It's not hard to drink.
No.
It's got 7% alcohol. I mean, it's still a pretty heavy beer in terms of alcohol wise, but it wasn't hard to drink, so I really enjoyed it.
Good head rating too.
Yeah, no, it was a great beer. I really was pretty impressed with it. So what I'm holding. Please explain.
So this is the second rendition. Obviously, I told you I was worried about the first one for the s'mores beer. This one was brewed with just malt. There was no added chocolate except for I added an extra pound of chocolate malt in. I took the smoked malt out, and then about 2 weeks in, or 10 days in, I dry hopped with marshmallows, about 3 pounds. Unfortunately, most of the marshmallows sat on top. I didn't melt it like Tim said. That would have forced them down to the bottom. But I think the next time we're going to do it, we'll do it with like a marshmallow fluff so that it's heavier and sits down at the bottom. But overall, I think this beer came out really nice. I don't know if you're going to pick up on any of the marshmallow, but it should be there in some shape or form. If not, I'm just going to cut the marshmallow out and then do a vanilla bean.
Well, the fluff would be interesting. But see, I want to know exactly what the difference is, because so the first beer that you described had a totally different flavor to me. What was the difference there? Like, what you mentioned that you had put the marshmallows in it in the secondary fermentation?
So the first one, the marshmallows went into the boil. The chocolate went into the boil. I did have chocolate malt, but I also had a smoked malt.
This one you removed the smoke malt.
I removed the smoked malt. I actually added an extra pound of the chocolate malt to counteract and to try to get that chocolatiness that we added with the actual Hershey's chocolate.
The funny thing is saying that like it's way less smoky is what this one tastes to me, and I actually do get a very subtle sweetness.
So that's the marshmallow.
Marshmallow, right? I get a very subtle sweetness. I get like this. If you were to hand me this and say it's this beer right here is a s'mores beer, I totally get it because I feel like I'm sitting in a campfire, drinking a chocolate marshmallow beer.
Yes,
right? That's what I feel.
I would like the chocolate to be more the marshmallow to be more nosy, and I think that's what you would get if the chocolate or if the beer was sitting on top of the marshmallows. Unfortunately, the marshmallow propped up.
Yeah,
so it kind of took away from that, and it really only got the bottom feed on marshmallows.
But if you boiled marshmallows, wouldn't that make the marshmallows sink down to the bottom?
Well, and that's what Tim was saying, and I didn't have time to boil them down, so it's like, oh, they'll stay, and then they got floated up fucking down. But
well, either way, I do like this one. So
they still, I mean, the whole thing when I was pouring it into siphoning it into the keg, I was just getting marshmallow in the nose like crazy. So I thought it was going to be prevalent.
I mean, just taking a sip of it, you can definitely it's got almost a creamy finish too.
Okay, good.
I got a creamy kick to it, which that's reminiscent of the marshmallow, and then again I feel the smokiness of it, but I think it's from the chocolate and from the
chocolate malt and the black patent malt that's used too. There's 3 different type of Brice. You got 2.
And you put chocolate in it, actually.
No chocolate.
Okay.
Chocolate malt. So you got
the first one you put chocolate in.
Actual chocolate.
This one just chocolate malt.
Yeah. So this
is I think this is a more true to a s'mores beer.
S'mores beer. Yeah. And we'll probably stick with this way of doing it because honestly, adding in those other ingredients, you're really taking a chance with contamination. You're taking a chance of stressing the yeast out.
Yeah.
This is just 1 packet of yeast that's more than enough for a 5-gallon batch and things like that. So
did you brew this in succession? Like you brewed the first one and then you brewed this one immediately after? Or?
This was the replacement beer to the first one because I thought the first one kicked the bucket. It would have
been
like
a week after you brewed
second or third really bad beer.
Okay.
Like not drinkable, I thought, but it is drinkable, and this one's better, I think. In my opinion.
Smells like a s'mores. That's
so you get the nose on it as it gets warmer.
Yeah, I'm just smelling it now. It smells like a s'mores. Like if I held a graham cracker chocolate.
And there's no graham cracker in there. We left the graham cracker out. I talked to Corey because it's his baby, really. Yeah. I was like, do you want to throw a graham cracker in there?
Version 2. No. Version 2 is much better. I like it.
Good deal. So
awesome.
We won't spend too much time on it, but that was the saved beer. Like that was for the birthday party. This is the beer that's supposed to save the first one. So
all right. Well, good. All right. So that completes our what you drinking, what are you gonna drink? I think what we're gonna drink here in the near future is hopefully a strawberry basil black pepper. But what else do you have in the hopper?
Oh my. As far as fermenting right now, I have nothing. This will be the fermented beer, but I do have a hot bullet left. I've got a couple Sierra Nevada beers.
We've got our Mardi Gras.
We've got our Mardi Gras. And some rum.
All right.
So it's going to be a fun-filled night, but really we have about 40 minutes left of steeping. So
this might be a long one.
This might be a long one, I'm telling you.
All right. So if nothing else, we still have our geek section to look forward to, our geek news, which we always do in every podcast. Yes. The thing we're going to try tonight, which is going to be different, is that I brought No Man's Sky to introduce Ryan to the concept of it.
Yes.
And then Ryan's going to show me Dragonball
Z Fighter.
Z Fighter. Okay.
So
which I've heard really good things about.
Which honestly, we could probably get my daughter to be okay with putting that on first. If you want to cut her off,
she doesn't regulate this podcast.
Well, she doesn't.
We'll let her watch Moana, and then we'll
let her watch Moana, and then we'll take over. We'll be like, all right, it's adult time. Go to bed. Yeah. Or watch tablet upstairs. I don't care. It's Friday night, and we're brewing in the garage.
That's right. So either way, it's going to be interesting. So I'm going to try and capture Ryan's first thoughts of No Man's Sky, and I'm going to get my thoughts of Dragon Ball Z Fighter, and it should net out to a pretty interesting podcast. So we hope you guys stick around, and we'll talk to you soon. So you just pop the top on your mash tun here.
So let's see what the temperature is.
It does smell really good.
110. So it's at 140 right now. Keep going.
It's still climbing.
150. Can't really beat that. 151.
So that stayed in there for an hour and only lost about 9 degrees.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Perfect because the cold grains that we put in cooled it down, and then we put the top on right away. So that's perfect. It's exactly where we want to be. Now what I'm going to do is start sparging. This is basically going to be for a fail-safe. So what we're going to start doing is sparging. When you sparge using a mash tun, you can literally let the wort come out the bottom and pour it back on top. Now, you don't want to do it too fast, but you don't want to do it too slow, because if you do it too fast, it'll create a grain bed which will not let the grain go through. So what this will do is it'll create a natural filter. We'll be able to siphon off a lot of the particles of the beer that we don't want to go into the boil. All right, so what we're doing now, we've already sparged and recycled our wort back over top the grains. And what I'm doing now is I've got my sparge water, and what this is going to do is really just close off the process of the sugar conversion, because it's a lot hotter water, and then also be able to clear or grab all the remaining sugars that are left in the grain bed. And when we taste this, Donnie, you tasted the grains in the beginning. When we taste this at the end, when we got the pot back over here, we're going to notice that there shouldn't be any sugars left in what we taste, because if there is, then we did something.
So it tastes like oatmeal.
Yeah, oatmeal
Less
that
sweet.
hasn't had any sugar added to it. Exactly.
Right.
So pretty much this is the process, and I got my water heated up to about 180, 185 degrees. That's kind of where I like it for this process.
In terms of the process itself, like what has happened now is that we had what, four gallons that we boiled originally. Then we steeped those.
We steep the grains in 4 gallons of water, and I've got 3 gallons that I'm continuing the sparge with as it's draining in the pot.
So you're expecting to lose 2 gallons out of the batch right off the bat with
so
the recipe.
Adding the 3 gallons back into it, I'm expecting us to have about 6 gallons, maybe 6.5 when we're about to boil. And then at the end of the
final
hour
boil, the final stage of the boil. Yeah.
Right. Then at the end of the final stage of the boil, we should have roughly 5 gallons.
Right.
I say roughly because you never know how much.
Sure. But in that stage, there'll be half an hour of hops, 15 minutes of strawberry basil.
That's right.
And that's when the black pepper and the adjunct ingredients are introduced.
Yes, so we're going to introduce the hops 30 minutes into the boil. We're going to do 2 ounces of citra hop, and that's going to give us enough time in the boil phase to not only add the bitterness to the beer, but still remain citrusy, hoppies of that nature. So that middle ground. If we were to add the hops in at the beginning, it'd be really bitter in the beginning, and that'll add too much bitterness for this fresh flavor profile I think that we're trying to get.
Sure.
So, and these types of beers, they're just really fun to brew. I mean,
To experiment with. I just think this is a neat experiment for us, just to say, we really like that beer. Let's see if we can do it at home. It's like a buddy of mine is a piano player and a musician by profession. So when he hears a song on the radio, he can literally go home and play it on the piano, and I think that's amazing. This is kind of an adaptation of you saying, like, well, I tried this beer there once, and you didn't even, I mean, you've tried it maybe 2 times.
Of it.
I've drank maybe 70 gallons of it. Like, not gallons, 70 pints of it. Like, I love it.
That's what fish dream of.
Yeah, that's what fish dream of, is more water.
Yeah.
All right.
I was gonna say lipstick on a pig, but
Yeah, well, I don't think fish would even know what a pig looks like.
well, let's introduce some. No, but this is still going. So yeah, whenever we get done with this, we'll put it on and boil it for 60 minutes.
Sounds good.
All right.
All right. We'll touch base very soon, and then we are going to get on to the geek section.
Yes, we promise. The geek stuff is coming once we're done brewing.
Sounds good to me.
Right now, we're gonna take just a little bit out of here, just a smidge, just so we can taste it, so that we can get the before taste and the aftertaste when we add the strawberries, the basil, and everything. What you're gonna notice, this is a really light, thinny, sort of sugary
Sugar water.
Yeah, pretty much. But you'll also taste the malt profile from the Breeze, and you probably won't taste too much of the carapils.
Again, that smell just brings me like right
Yeah.
back home. God, that's the best smell. See what I get out of that? It's pre-wort. Yeah, wort. It's like
Non-bitter, nothing.
no, but you can taste almost like when they say a cascade. I'm sorry, like a what you said it was
Breeze.
So it's like a dry oaky.
A little bit. But in relative perspective to what you tasted earlier with the malt, like you now see the malt flavor in the water.
Right. It tastes like the malt flavor in a drink.
I'm gonna keep this high, but it depends on how fast you want to heat it up, because then it's a bitch to get it down. So we'll start it off a little slow. I just got this filled up yesterday, so we got full tank. Basically, now it's just a waiting game, but you really, really, really want to pay attention and that's a good sign. It's already starting to smoke on here, because that means the water is really hot still. But as it starts to form a sort of bubbled up layer, that's when we're going to want to start paying attention, because that's when boil overs happen. That's when the wort's about to actually boil over or boil itself. Now for right now though, tasting that, now let's do a grain test, because what we don't want to taste is sugar. We're not going to reuse this, so you can taste it, grab in there.
And this is the barley that we're actually tasting.
Huh. Yes. You shouldn't taste any sugar. Should be completely different.
No, less like oatmeal, more like just straight oats.
Yeah.
Gross.
Well, the good thing about this, and so the one thing about craft beer breweries that's a positive for not just our bellies and
sustainability,
pleasure, but a lot of breweries will donate these to farmers and give them to their pigs and all
and
sorts
love
of
it.
things. And they love it. And I mean, it's just really good food for all the pigs.
The funny thing is, like, those animals don't need the sugar piece of it, right?
No.
Like the glucose part. They want the fiber and the proteins that come from the shell.
That out.
Yeah.
So
that is
just throw
sustainable.
in the trash. I don't know a farmer that needs it. At least not in this small quantity.
Well, why not?
Well,
You could find one.
I haven't found one yet. There are any farmers listening to this podcast right
Please
now.
write in #Brewmasters Clubcast or just email info@brewmasters.club.
If you know any farmers that need about 13 pounds of grain every 3 weeks, let me know. So
it's delicious. Like, you know what they should make is we should make like some sort of like ice cream, something out of it. Like, I don't know what we can make out of that.
So it's funny you say that, because Mad Beach Brewery does a great job of using their grains that they've already steeped with in some of their food item. They have like a tabbouleh grain thing or something like that. So they kind of reincorporate in their own restaurant, which for those recipes helps out the restaurant. And it's actually really, really, really good. So if you haven't been to Mad Beach, they're down there in Johns Pass, St. Pete area. Or St. Pete Beach, I should say. And they reincorporate their grains into some of their food bills. And they have great beer, too.
So me and Ryan are going to mow down on some of this grain. In the meantime...
13 pounds of it.
In the meantime, Google some local farmers here that might be able to help us out.
Yeah.
We'd love to contribute. It is delicious.
It still has some flavor, mostly from the grain itself, not the sugars. So,
I like it. All right. Well, as you can hear, we're still boiling, so we'll touch base with you guys here in a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I promise, once this beer is brewed, we're moving on to the Geek News section.
we are not filled with empty promises.
Stay tuned. So Ryan, what exactly did we just add here?
We added 3 pounds of strawberries and 30 sprigs of basil, and how much pepper?
Roughly 2 1/4. I think I said it was about two tablespoons of straight black pepper.
Now you see how it cooled down a little bit? It'll take a second for it to come back up, and that's where we have to lift it up a little bit, make sure the boil over doesn't happen. But then once it starts rip riding, soaring again, it's gonna be beautiful.
And given the fact that it's 11:24 now, what time we're looking at? We've got till what?
Might take us
11:40?
5 minutes, somewhere in that ballpark.
Okay. Awesome. So we'll see. I mean, it looks good so far. It smells delicious. The girl said it smelled like pancakes.
Pancakes, basil.
It smells very good. It smells very close to what the recipe that I remember was. All right. Well, I guess we'll touch base here once we get it rocking and rolling. We can maybe taste the wort and see what it looks like then.
Well, we'll definitely be tasting the wort when it's done. We'll take a gravity reading and see where we finish that. I'm hoping between 1.05, 1.06, somewhere in that ballpark. If that drops down to 1.01, then we'll have a good gravity beer. We'll have about 7%.
All right. Well, you've got it on recording, guys. We're going for a 7%er.
What was lipstick on a pig?
6.7.
Probably in that range.
Yeah. One can hope. We'll see soon. Stay tuned. We just pulled our wort off of the burner.
Yep.
And you're dropping your chiller.
The wort chiller down into the beer. And I've got this little hose that comes out here. Basically what I'm going to do is turn the hose on. Water's going to cycle through and take the heat out through the copper into the silicone wire, whatever the fuck that is. And the main line there. And it's going to chill our beer down to about 120 degrees, and then we'll siphon it off in the fermenter and leave it to rest overnight till it gets down to about 68, 72 ballpark.
What temperature are we starting in? Like when you pull it off?
Right now we're at 212.
212.
Pretty much.
Which is what, standard for wort?
For boiling purposes. That's where we were at full time boiling. Round and round she goes.
And that'll bring it down how fast? I mean, how quickly will it bring down to?
So what I used to do when I did my 1 gallon batches, even actually when I was doing these before I bought the wort chiller, I was literally using, I'd buy like 20-pound bags of ice.
We did it at my house.
We did.
we threw it in the cooler.
And chill it down. Get a wort chiller. Spend $50. It's the best $50 you'll ever spend besides buying a mash
all the
tun.
other gear.
Yeah, well, all the other stuff. Don't go too crazy. But it makes a huge difference. It takes all the heat out, and nothing gets inside the wort chiller except, at least as far as how I do it. Some places have different things that'll cycle back through, but yeah, you can definitely feel there's a different temperature, especially if you go down here. Be a lot warmer. Feel that. I mean, it's not very hot, but it's taking the heat out slowly.
It's definitely a lot hotter than the ambient temperature that's coming into the wort. That's the cool
thing. They give you
thing.
enough hose to make sure you don't spray it into your beer. So we're left with about right at 5 gallons.
Well,
That's
good.
really where we're heading right now.
No, I think it's been. I mean, we certainly have grown the process since the first time we brewed. I don't know what episode that was. 20 something maybe.
November of 2016. We'll go with that. That was our first brew.
Well, that was like when we
That was
first
the first
started.
time we brewed.
Yeah, that was 2 years ago at this point.
It was.
Almost 2 years ago. So.
Yeah.
Very interesting. But no, I think it's good. So I hope everybody learned something that was paying attention at least to this. And we're still gonna like tap into the
one more thing left to do.
one more stage.
So when this cools, I've got a hydrometer, and we'll see what our gravity reading is for this beer. I'm hoping, like I said, between 1.05, 1.06, somewhere in that ballpark. That'll give us a nice, good percentage beer once it drops down to 1.01 after it's done. Now, what does that mean? Look it up. That's how you get your gravity reading. You start with your beginning because all the sugars are still in the beer.
But you specifically said 1.5 you wanted.
Well, 1.05 to 1.06 is kind of where we're aiming. We have enough grain to hit that, I think, if we got the sugars out that we want. So what we're going to be reading is what sugars are left after the boil, right? And then once the yeast eat all those sugars up, we'll take our final reading, and that'll be what our percentage is. So you basically, there's a mathematical equation, forget what that is right now. I use something on Google, it's really easy. And you take your 1.06, your 1.01, and that gives you your ABV. So yeah, that's where we're at with that.
No, that was very good. Yeah, all right, so we're going to chill this wort, and we're going to get there here in a hot minute. Talk to you guys soon. All right, guys. So this is the end phase here of the brewing process. At least we have chilled the wort. We are actually currently racking it to our tertiary, I guess, our primary fermentator.
Primary fermentator.
we are racking it. We are racking it into our primary fermentation device here. So we're trying it.
Yeah, so our gravity came in at 1.06, which is exactly what we were aiming for. I think those strawberries kind of kicked us up to the next level there. But where you might be not tasting a lot of the strawberry or anything like that, it's definitely very good. It comes together really nicely as far as unfermented wort goes.
The cool thing is I can smell the black pepper. I can taste the basil. There's definitely a sweetness from the strawberry.
It's going to be a very good beer. It's light.
It's light.
The body's light. I like that.
Yeah, me too. That's what we're going for.
Now, Donnie, again, it's hard to tell exactly how this is going to turn out once we ferment it. Again, we may not have even used the same kind of grains that was in Sick on a Pig, but I do believe in two-row, and I believe this is going to be a really good beer regardless of how it comes out in the end.
As long as that dryness mellows out.
Oh, that's just and stuff like that. Yeah, that'll all mellow out.
I think we'll be all right.
Worried about that at all? Yeah.
Okay, so we are racking this fermenter, and we are going to touch base with you guys here in a little bit for a Geek News segment. All right, stick around. We are back to the Geek News section here, Craft Brews Geek News. And Ryan is taking me through a intro to Dragonball Z Fighter.
Fighter, yes.
So what is this? This is for PS4 and anything else?
For PS4, basically. I think Xbox and all the other ones, I'm sure, but it's just fandom meets ultimate control over the players and warriors that you love watching, but then you can play with them in like the most realistic game ever.
I'm excited to see it because I've heard really good things about the gameplay for this, that it looks like an actual Dragon Ball episode.
Pretty much.
So where are you at right now? This is where
there's like this whole little world that's like a staging kind of area. I've yet to actually have a battle with any of these people that are online. I don't know how to do that yet. but you can go up here and there's like local battle. So what I've been doing is the actual storyline, which nobody seems to ever want to do.
This is so anime looking to me. Like, it's so anime.
So I know it says begin story, but I'm already halfway through the second arc. So the game itself is broken down into arcs, and I'm midway through the second arc.
I know all those guys. I remember all those guys.
Captain
the guy with the
Ginyu,
mustache, the bald
Frieza.
guy with the mustache.
Yep. Everybody.
Oh, shit, man, that's awesome.
So, let's see here.
This is what I want to see. I want to see. So what Ryan's doing now is he's selecting what the people you want to fight.
You can go any direction. You have 20 turns to figure out which pattern you want to go to, and as you go throughout the game here on this particular level, which this is Chapter 9, Map 12, right? So there's different chapters that I've gone through. What I didn't notice in the beginning is that you can actually build your warriors, because see how the like Vegeta says 25, Piccolo says 20, but Yamcha's at 8, right? You can build your characters kind of like Pokemon.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
You build your levels in Pokemon.
Well, it's an MMO. It's any kind of like RPG.
But you literally have to raise your crop of team members. So, like right here, we'll go edit. I'll get rid of Yamcha, and let's say trade him for Boo. Let's do that.
Who the hell's that? Big
That's
fat
Majin
guy?
Buu.
Majin Buu.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the good Majin Buu. He's not the evil Majin Buu, like we all later in the Dragon Ball Z arc. But so let's go here and we'll fight. So what we're doing is we're fighting evil clones. So these evil clones are like 32, 32, and 32. It's Yamcha, Goku, and Captain Geek. So that's fine.
But they're higher level than you are.
Well,
by a lot,
which gives them more stamina. So it's kind of like almost like a Street Fighter. But you
Well, it's
really
very
get to do
Street
some
Fighter.
Crazy stuff.
It just looks very much like the cartoon show because
So
it
you
briefs
have-
over. Yeah.
You have 3 players, so right now you have 3 players, so I can call in, like Majin Buu can come in just for a quick second and kind of help me out a little bit. Now Captain Ginyu, so he just kicked my ass. His stamina is like 20,880 versus now Piccolo, which is like half of that. But you can also tag out, so if I wanted to, I could call in Majin Buu, which I don't have enough stamina to fight up these
That's
guys.
cool.
Yeah, that was...
They sent him into a volcano and he just exploded the volcano.
I'm probably going to...
Lose this game.
But see, your guys don't like die or anything like that. You're actually, even though we're battling right now, we're playing part of a storyline of sorts. You're playing the arc. So even if these guys get, like, if Majin
That's
Buu
awesome.
or whatever was to get knocked out, the battle would end, but I would pick my new team of guys that I've collected throughout this whole arc. And I
What
love
the
it.
hell was
I
that?
don't know. I just sometimes press button. It works out. But you would essentially just go back into this battle, and every damage point that you've caused to all these clones would still be there. So you wouldn't re-battle them at full strength or anything like that. And then your guys, they basically go to sleep for a battle or two. So like I lost, right? Like all these guys are not done, but we still get level up points, things like that. But we don't gain any health back. So they're all dormant now on my chart of people. I have to pick a new team, but when I go back in and fight these same clones, I'll I'll do this for Frieza.
That's pretty neat though. Like the way the game looks is freaking fantastic. Like it looks like the show.
That's one thing that draws me in more than anything. Show, but so I can't choose Boo, I can't choose Piccolo, and I can't choose Vegeta because they're all here. But after I beat these guys, they'll gain a little bit of life back. So as you move throughout all your turns,
You kind of rebuild your guys.
your guys. So you're cycling back through and you're getting level points. So I'll go back in here. I only have like one guy. I really feel like I should turn things.
No, I think everybody can hear it. What I'm trying to say is that I've now been watching Ryan play the Super Dragon Ball Z Fighter, and he's been playing for a few rounds now. It's actually really cool. Like it's reminiscent. Me and Laos man used to sit in a closet and watch cable TV. You know, basically when we had the opportunity to do so, and Saturday morning cartoons was the Dragon Ball story,
Yeah.
and we loved it. We really did. At that time, I saw Trunks. I remember Goku, Vegeta. What's his name?
Vegeta.
No, Vegeta, sure, but Piccolo. And I remember he got shot, hole in the chest. Whenever, if you can track that timeline down, that's when we stopped watching the show because that's when I remember he kind of left. But I also remember the No Balls guy, the alien dude with the purple head,
Frieza.
Frieza. Yeah. Is this the first time they've had a fighter version of Dragon Ball Z? I find that hard to believe.
Kind of like, so they've had other games. As a matter of fact, one of the games they have out right now has all of the new characters from the Dragon Ball Super, which is something I really want to get, strongly actually. But this one just has a really different storyline. A lot of the Dragon Ball Z games have the same storyline. You fight Raditz, you fight Vegeta, you fight Frieza, and Cell, and everything. This is a different non-arc video game. And what I mean by non-arc is you're fighting these clones that are created by Android 21.
That is a crazy move. What is he doing? Dude, Piccolo just shot like 25 orbs into the air. Oh my god.
Done.
You just shot like a laser beam out of your chest.
Frieza's like, oh fuck, I got somebody else to
One
fight.
more guy.
God damn it. God damn it.
This is insane.
So
I've
Ginyu,
never seen a game like
Captain
this.
Ginyu can call forth like all of his evil henchmen, like Raccoon, and come on, blow him up. Come on, I gotta win this. Yes. Who won? Oh, I lost. No, I won. I won.
You heard it here, people,
Oh my
first.
gosh.
Ryan won.
I didn't know who won that one.
Ryan won the old Dragon
So
Balls.
when you win, your guys come back to
She's definitely a
level up
lady,
and-
right?
No, that's a dude.
Nah, she looks like a lady.
Frieza's a dude.
No, man. All right.
Look at the chest.
Dragon Ball Z Fighter. Love it. Very cool.
Very cool.
Very cool game. Look just like a cartoon.
I wanted to play No Man's Sky, but
We got time.
this is a game they remade for PS4.
This is a game they made for PS4.
Okay, so it's not a new game.
It is. They made it in 2016. It's for PC
Oh, okay.
and for PlayStation.
And what made you want to buy this game?
Because I wanted a space simulator that, like, it's basically like this is the closest thing to Star Wars we have right now.
Okay.
Because it's procedurally generated, which means you can go in any direction you want to. It's fine. And you can go in any direction you want to, and you will never run out. There's 18 quintillion planets out there.
So you
Which
just
sounds
keep going.
crazy. You can go anywhere, and everything that you find on a planet, you can find on many other planets in different variations. Like, it's hard to explain.
Okay, well, let's play.
So,
we have brewed a beer, and I have already introduced Dragon Ball Z Fighter to Donnie, and he was blown away by not only the graphics, but the fun.
and
that
the
that game
nostalgia.
has.
It was amazing.
Oh, dude, it gets me every time. But now I'm watching Donnie play No Man's Sky, and he has just politely introduced me to this game and given me the introduction to it. So this looks really awesome. And what are we looking for? There's a bunch of planets.
This is a loading screen.
Okay, so so I thought we were flying through space. Going
No,
to
where it's
another
going to load
planet.
is I'm on a planet that I just claimed as my own, which is unique to the solar system. So every single thing that you see here is uniquely generated to my game.
with purple grass.
I named it Purple Grasslandia.
Wow.
You can literally go to anywhere in the world and name anything you want to. Just wait, my friend.
Because I'm only seeing this as myself looking through, but like it's
No, there's no third-person view. There's nothing like that.
so it's just this.
Correct.
It's kind of dizzying.
It is. Once you use it, so this is my base. I've built this base. It's a 4-layer base. That's all it
Is that
is.
swimming fish? Swimming
Yep.
dogfish?
So these are little animals that live in the environment.
What?
And if you can see on the left
They're
hand
not
side
little.
there-
They're huge.
Yeah, they're huge. They're about 4 almost 4 meters long, and they're non-aggressive, and they literally just swim in the sky.
That's cool.
So then you see these things right here. These are like little alien sentinels, which basically monitor how much you're mining or taking away from the
That
environment.
even had a shadow built into it.
Yeah.
Wow.
So these things are called sentinel drones. They're terrible.
Good soundtrack.
So first off, wait, before I get my ship.
So
I wanna
you don't
show
know what you look like.
Correct. But like, look at this amazing area, right? Like, this looks like a cool planet.
It is a cool planet.
All right. So first off, when you go into my base here, you get this. This is called a Gek. So you can go to him, and he'll tell you how to build your place a little bit bigger.
So you have to build this planet?
You have to build your base. But look, I have 4 levels here of base building to do. He also gives you little missions and things like that.
Wow.
Let's go to the farmer. It's fine. So essentially, every piece of this, there's a little bit different thing. This is not the most exciting part. So I can jump in this portal and go into outer space and just kind of find somebody. But what I'm going to show you as the newbie to this game is that this planet. Watch this. So I get up, as in I take off on this planet, and you can just drive through if you want to. Or
I love
you can
purple.
go, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and blast into outer space.
No way.
Yeah. And you can just literally blast into outer space. And so in no time, it's like a Star Wars RPG where like you're just outside of the planet and you can shoot down asteroids and go to space stations, or I could just jump to that planet if I want to. Like see that planet over there, I'd be like, oh yeah, let's go that way.
Does it know how to get you home though?
Well, the home is where the heart is, right? Because you can go anytime you want to back home if you want to.
How do you do that though? You just search for your planet?
Well, you got to build points, and you got to build so whatever. Here, so I'll show you an example. So there's a space station you can just go to if you want to.
Wow.
And you can just dock in there, or
and is that real time?
It's all real time. So what it tells you when it says there's like a 31 minute, 32 minute, whatever it is. So like I'll show you this.
It takes 1 hour to get there. If you go to that one, it takes 1 hour.
At this rate, watch this though. Like see how it says 3 hours. If I throw my hyperdrive and engage, it goes okay. Well now it's 2 minutes, and now it's 3 minutes, and bam, and I'll arrive in 37 seconds. If I want to go real fast, you just kind of dip down, and all of a sudden it goes, and you just literally dive into the planet like you would honestly be breaking through
Does
the
it
atmosphere.
crash? Like, can you crash?
You absolutely can. Okay. See how there's like a question mark there?
Yeah.
So the whole point of the thing is to arrive here, land.
Wow. So what's the real like objective to this?
It is that like literally you comb the galaxy and you uncover stuff. I have to literally bust through. I have to bust through this door. So I'll throw on like a shotgun shell.
So, but do people attack you in this game? Like, do you get into like fights? You have to use
Absolutely,
the gun?
yeah,
Okay.
you totally can. But I just busted into this base. It's just amazing. You can literally go anywhere you want to.
Yeah.
And you can pop a scan, and so you can just literally scan anywhere you want to. And you can just go, I'm going to go over here and see if there's anything amazing.
Do they build patch-ins where
It's
you can
procedurally
download?
generated, so everything is generated as you arrive on it. So it's all unique. And nothing has been touched before by any other person. So that's kind of what it is. But the beauty of it is I'm like, oh, well, you know what? I'm done with this planet. I just want to go. So you see on the left-hand side, it says 1,000, 1,200, 2,300. I can literally just drive up here.
But that wasn't your planet.
That was my planet. That was the
your
planet I was on.
Oh, they hate you.
That's all right. And I can literally just go, I'm going to bounce there. So it said 23 minutes it would take me to get to the space station, or I just jump to it. And then, boom, son, I'm there. It's amazing. It's the coolest game I've ever seen. I've never seen a game that can take you from the planet, walking around, and then all of a sudden up in the space station, and you can hop out there, and you can go up here and use your little jetpack and get up.
I'm entranced.
So I take this little portal here, and I go right back to my base.
What about your ship?
It follows you.
No way.
Yeah. It's insane, right? Insane.
Wow.
But there is 18 quintillion planets in this game. I've showed you 2. 1, really.
So how do you win?
So you move towards the center of the galaxy, that's how you win. But there have been civilizations that have been established in this game. This monster will forever be known as Ryan Roberts.
Fuck yeah.
And you now live on the system of NATO in the planet Betuus Eolerd.
So can other online gamers or
They all will see it for the first time as what I just called it. And they can rename it as they want to.
what?
Crazy, right?
That's awesome.
You've been listening to the official podcast of the Brewmasters Club, Craft Brews and Geek News. Grab a beer with the guys and be sure to subscribe to catch additional content. Add this podcast to your favorite RSS feed or iTunes. Chat with the guys on Twitter at Brewmasters Club and Facebook and online at www.brewmasters.club. Cheers!